Hello everybody! In this video we're going to be talking about M files, and there are two main types of M files that we'll see in this class. There are function M files and script M files. So script M files are a little bit easier, so that's what we're going to start with, and then at the end of the video we'll see a little bit of functions. But an M file is basically how you are going to turn in your assignments in MATLAB. So it's going to be a file ending in .m, hence the name M file. So maybe I want you to imagine this type of situation. You can see here in the command window, I have a couple of variables assigned. I've said let's let a equal to 7, then b equal to a minus 6, and c equal to a times b. So that's fine, and of course in the workspace we see a, b, c defined as 7, 1, 7 respectively. But what if I realize, oh, I really meant a to be 10. So I could say, okay, well a equals 10. Now I'm going to press enter and keep your eye on the workspace. You can see that the value of a changed, but b and c did not. And the reason that's a problem is, well, b and c depend on the value of a. And if you try to click here and press delete or edit b or anything like that, run it again, you can't. So that's a limitation of the command window. And the way we're going to get around that, or the method for doing kind of multiple executions at once, is to put everything in what's called a script. So this is again a certain type of M file, and before I show you how to do that, I'm going to go to the layout, and previously we had hidden the current folder, but now I'm going to show it because our M files are going to show up here. So like I said, a script is going to allow us to run multiple lines of code at once in a way that the command window doesn't let us. So for instance, if I want to change A and B and C depend on A, I can update everything without having to go in and type everything out again. So you could either go to the new script button here, or you could go new and then click script. So what's happened here is it's opened a new screen for me, and nothing is here, so completely blank. A good way of starting your script is with the word clear. And in the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about why we want to do this, but for now, you can think about it as the script is able to access variables in the command window. So we want to make sure that whatever we write here is not being influenced by what we have in the command window. I'll elaborate more on that in the next video and also show you exactly what happens if you exclude clear. But all I'm going to do now is write clear, and I'm going to write exactly what we had before. So we had a equals, I want to update it to 10, b equals, let's say a minus 6, or I think it was a minus, yeah, it was a minus 6, and c equal to a times b. Now you'll notice this equal sign is highlighted and has a red squiggle underneath. So let's see what the warning is. So it's saying add a semicolon after the statement to hide the output in a script. Yes, so we're going to want to add the semicolon. Remember, this suppresses output. And what this is going to do is when we run our script, it's going to prevent A, B, and C from being printed in the command window. Again, in the next video, I'll show you exactly what happens if we remove these semicolons, but let's leave them for now. So, okay, this looks like everything we wanted. And what we're going to do now is go to save. And now it's giving us save as, and it has your untitled 5. Let's give it a nice name. It's important that you don't give these M files names that are too common, something like function or script, because it's very likely that this is something that's already defined in MATLAB, or maybe even something you've defined before, and you don't want to overwrite it. So let's call it something like my script. And I'm going to click save. Great. So now we have my script.n. I'm going to X out of that screen, and now we're back to the command window. So I can see here in the current folder I have my script.m, and I'm going to clear all the variables in the workspace and also clean the screen. And now to run our script, we're just going to say my script without the .m and press return. So now we can see A, B, and C. These are all defined, and we didn't have to type anything in the command window. And now again, so let's say, oh, maybe I really did want a to be 7 after all. Again, I can go to my script. I'm going to open it by double clicking on the name. I'm going to change a to be 7. And then I'm going to press Command S to save it, or you could go up here and click Save. Then we can come back and let's run my script again. And now we can see we have 717. So that was a very brief introduction to scripts. And as promised, I'm also going to show you about functions in this video as well. So to make a function, what we're going to do is again go to this new button, going to click function, and we can see this one looks a little bit more complicated than the scripts. So like I said, functions are a little bit more tricky, but that's okay. And the first thing you want to notice is this line 1, it says function. We're not going to mess with that. Then it has this output argument 1, output argument 2, equals, then untitled 6, which is going to give us a hint that, okay, this is where the name of our function is going to go. And we have the inputs. So here it's giving us 2 outputs and 2 inputs. You can mix and match these. You could have no input at all. But let's make it so that I have just one input. And let's call the input x. And let's also give our function a nice name. And same convention for with the scripts, you really want to avoid calling it something like function or any very generic name because you risk overwriting something that's already there. So let's just call it my fun for my function. And then what we're going to do is let's look at these percent symbols here. Oops, and what warning is it giving us? So this is going to be what this is telling us is that we're telling MATLAB, hey, this function, you're going to pass it a value x, but it's saying it doesn't show up anywhere in our function yet. But that's okay because we're not done. These green lines with the percent symbols, these are called comments. So this is a way of writing an explanation, of writing in plain English, and the computer is not going to evaluate it. When you write really complicated functions, it's good to write a summary of what's going on and a detailed explanation exactly like it says, but we're not going to do anything too crazy, so let's remove it for now. And let's just make a function that squares things. So let's say I want to call my output y. And I'm going to say y is equal to x squared. Now I'm going to save. And this is very important. You need that the name of your function to be the same as what you wrote up here in the first line. So my fun, we're not going to change it. We're just going to click save. So now our function's defined. I'm going to close this tab and we can see that we have this function in the current folder. So we can try my function of, let's say 5. And remember, our function just squares things. So what do you expect the output to be? We see exactly like we expect. The answer is 25. And again, maybe we could do, let's say 6. Oops, I forgot to write my fun of 6. And we get 36. All right, this is a good place to stop for this video. In the next video, we'll be talking a little bit more in depth about scripts, and in the video after that, we'll be discussing functions in a little bit more depth. Thank you for watching, and I will see you there.